We are currently at Wonder House because Narissa has a group taster this evening, and I'm so excited to see her in action because I also want you guys to see what her work entails.
Something interesting is that this is what people know as sound healing, usually, these Himalayan singing bowls. But really speaking, sound healing can be found in so many different places and settings. So even when you're in the forest and you're just listening to the wind blowing or the birds chirping, that's sound healing. When you're at the ocean and it's washing over you, or you're listening to that crashing sound and you feel like it's healing you, that's all sound healing. This is actually my favorite instrument of all of them, and this is known as the bansuri, or the Indian bamboo flute. Yeah, and that is my morning meditation. It's part of what I do every day to connect and ground. Yeah. My name is Narissa, and I'm a sound healing practitioner, as well as a general holistic wellness practitioner, mindfulness, meditation, breathwork, yoga, all kinds of things. And I've been practicing specifically sound healing for around 7 years now. As for other practices like meditation, that would go decades earlier. So sound healing is using sound and vibration for harmonizing the body, the mind, the spirit. It's a form of holistic wellness.
Hello, I'm Joris. I'm a project leader at the Boston Consulting Group, where I basically manage a team that solves or helps companies solve internal problems. And that's a very stressful job, and I often work long hours. And as a result of that, I'm often looking for ways to help calm and expand my mind, because it's important to not only take care of the physical body, but also sort of take care of the soul and the mind and everything else that is in there. And part of this has been sound healing, which for me is something that I'm new to and exploring a little bit more. But one of the experiences that I had that was really positive was I was with my partner, and we were both like having a good time, but we were both very stressful. And then another friend of us who is into sound healing, he offered to have us give us a private session. And during that session, we both felt so much more peace and calm come to us. And we felt like all the craziness in our mind going everywhere, it just slowed down, and it gave us a sense of purpose and focus that lasted for a couple of days.
Basically, if you're looking for something to just relax you and kind of bring yourself back into this feeling of balance and harmony, maybe you're feeling a little bit off, it can be this sort of a regular thing that you do to It's kind of how you do a massage every month or something like that. It can be something where you just sort of reconnect and bring your body back into harmony. If you're trying to work through something that is going on in your life right now, either on the physical level, pain or health issue, maybe in mental health, it's amazing for mental health work. It's very, very helpful for anxiety, depression, insomnia, a lot of other issues that people come with. It's helpful for that. And then, maybe also you're going through something emotionally, you want to process these emotions. This is also a great tool to help to work with that. Something interesting is that this is what people know as sound healing, usually, these Himalayan singing bowls. But really speaking, sound healing can be found in so many different places and settings. So even when you're in the forest and you're just listening to the wind blowing or the birds chirping, that's sound healing. When you're at the ocean and it's washing over you, or you're listening to that crashing sound and you feel like it's healing you, that's all sound healing. Turning point for me, it was a huge, actually possibly one of the largest turning points in my life that shifted my entire being and line of work, and actually got me to take up sound healing, was my own healing journey. Yeah, so in 2017 November, I actually lost my best friend, my childhood best friend, to cancer. And you can imagine that shook up my entire world. And so for the next several months, I was actually trying to process, trying to grieve, trying to understand, what's happening, trying to heal. And in that time, I got to experience many different healing modalities. And I was actually backpacking in Thailand and a few other countries in Southeast Asia at the time. And that's when I got to experience my first live sound healing. Sound healing is actually, it's not just like an imported thing. It's not just something from Asia, like these bowls are. Sound healing is something that is actually part of cultures across the world, and is actually, sound healing on this continent is very deep, very rooted, and very central to a lot of the ways that people connect to God, to spirit, to healing, to energy, to community. And I'm talking here about things like drumming, singing, chanting. It's actually, these are all forms of actually African sound healing. These bowls are special because they work on so many levels on your being and your holistic wellness. So one example is that with this bowl, you can actually place them on the body and have the vibrations physically go through your body, shaking up the cells and letting loose any tensions that are built up in there. And this actually happens even if they're not on the body. The vibrations go in. So that is one beautiful therapeutic way to use these bowls, which is so special and unique because there's no other instrument that you can do that with. And the reason they're called singing bowls is because of this. Because they sing like humans. They sound like a human voice. So this is why they're called the singing bowl. Also, when you hear these complex sounds from the bowls, there's so many different harmonics, and the way in which these harmonics interact with each other actually creates an effect on the brain called brain entrainment. So if you've ever listened to binaural beats on YouTube, it's actually something that people often listen to help them to sleep, to concentrate, and it brings the brain into a very relaxed state.
I had my first sound bath, sound healing session with Narissa. This was about a month or two ago, and it was so amazing. It was my first time. I didn't know much about it, but I felt it. Let me just say I felt it. The vibrations of the ball really entered my body. It was a very calm, serene environment, which also helped put me in that mood of like relaxation and reflection. And yeah, I just can't wait to do it again. Like I really look forward to doing it again because the first session was so profound, and I want to do something longer. And I'm glad that I have access to something like that in Kenya. I don't have to go somewhere else to find it. And yeah, she really put me on.
The good thing with some of these practices is that it's a long-lasting effect. So you start to connect with yourself, you start to actually release the core and the root of what is causing that physical or mental or emotional difficulty that we're trying to release. And as we work with that root, we start to sort of release that. And then you have that long-term effect. Secondly, it's not addictive. So you can, maybe this week you want to do a sound healing. Maybe next week you want to try some yoga practice. Perhaps maybe you're trying to like modify the diet a little bit and eat things that are a bit lighter. Next week you decide to go for a walk in the forest, but it's not like you have to do it. You have many options that can just uplift the spirit, the body, and make you feel light and well. That's why it's, holistic wellness.
Unfortunately, I think in most modern cultures, men are taught to bottle up their emotions and bottle up all their feelings, and all we're allowed to do is get drunk and get angry and fight, which I think is a huge shame because it's such a small part of who we are. And I think sound healing is one of the many ways in which we can sort of explore and expand ourselves and become more than we were before. So I recommend everybody to at least give it a try. Maybe it is for you, maybe it is not, but I think it's worth a shot.